It is reported in one of the hadiths that a man will be brought to the scale on the Day of Judgment, and he has done deeds as far as your eyes could see. The angels carry his deeds and they're about to be placed on the scale, sizes of mountains of good deeds. And when they are placed, Allah says, admit my servant into paradise with my mercy. The servant then says, my Lord, I want to enter paradise with my deeds. He thinks that he can get more for his deeds. So then Allah says, very well, if that's the way you want to measure it, then we have to be fair. You owe me something. You owe me the blessing of the eyesight which I gave you. I want you now to repay me for that. So the angels bring the blessing of the eyesight and they place it in a scale. And it is heavier than all the good deeds the man had done. He says, enter him into hellfire. And the servant says, Rabbi, I want to enter because of your mercy. Allah's mercy is the thing which we want. A person will come on that day. Allah will order the bringing of 99 books that record the deeds of the man in his life. Each book is as far as the sight of the man can see. Records full of bad deeds. Allah will say, go with your records to be weighed. He goes and then he comes back in misery. He's lost. Then Allah says, do you have any objection to what our angels wrote in your records? And he will say, no, Ya Rabb, I have no objections. Allah will ask him, do you have any excuse? And the man will say, no, my Lord, I have no excuse. Allah will say, but you still have with us a reward of a single good deed, as no one is wrong today. And then Allah will give this man a card to place on the scale. In this card, the following words are written: there is no deity worthy of worship except Allah, and Muhammad ﷺ is his messenger. And the man says, oh God, how heavy does this card weigh to the weight of 99 books of records? It weighs nothing. And the card will be placed and it will cause the bar of the books to swing to its side sharply. Because, my dear brothers and sisters, nothing weighs heavier than the word of Tawheed. La ilaha illallah. So you say it and you fulfill its conditions. Allah swears an oath, He says, this message of Islam will reveal or is a word of separation of the two criterions, separation of right and wrong, the good from the evil, the separation of between who was righteous and who was not. The truth will be revealed in all of its value. And there are more records being brought, more rewards. On top of that, there is also the fasting, as-siyam. Do you not hear the hadith of Prophet ﷺ where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Hadith al-Qudsi, everything that my servant does is for him or her, except for fasting, it is mine, and I will reward especially with it. On that day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will keep those deeds hidden. Even the angels don't know the value of those deeds for that fasting person, voluntarily and compulsory. Allah will bring the special rewards, and so their scales will even increase. Oh, what great light and what great happiness that servant of Allah will be on that day. Allah tells us in the Quran about the difference between these two. And as we move on from stage to stage in the hereafter, you see faces getting brighter or faces getting more misery. Faces that were once bright become a little bit miserable. Faces that are a little bit miserable, they become a little bit brighter. Until finally the criterion, the absolute distinction is made. So now the scales have been resolved. What is next? Now the sentencing. The angels have been given orders. And so there are angels of blessings and there are angels of torture. And so the person's deeds which failed him or her, the sentencing will be in accordance with that. They'll be driven to the fire. And we shall drive the criminals to hellfire in a thirsty state. None shall have the power of intercession for these people. They will call out like this, now we have no intercessors, nor a close friend to help us. That's when they will begin to scream and cry. And some of them will scream and say, oh our Lord, just give us another chance, give us another chance. But there is no response from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A person who on the Day of Judgment is brought, who had lived the most comfortable and luxurious and happy life ever, from the beginning of creation to the end of time. And he will be dipped once into hellfire because of bad deeds, once, and taken out, and the angels will ask him, what do you remember? He will say, I do not remember a single happy moment ever. Truly and literally, the man forgets every single happy moment he has ever had. The angels will say, you have been given the chances. The worst of them in the front. There will be believers, however they showed off their deeds. The scholar who showed off his knowledge for the sake of being called a scholar. The reciter who showed off his or her recitation so that people can praise them. The charity giver who gave charity so that people will say, what a generous person. The person who died a martyr, but only so that people can build monuments out of him. Their intentions were not for Allah. Their intentions were for people. These among the believers will be the first with whom hellfire will be ignited.
إذا زلزلت الأرض زلزالها وأخرجت الأرض أثقالها وقال الإنسان ما لها يومئذ تحدث أخبارها بأن ربك أوحى لها يومئذ يصدر الناس أشتاتا ليروا أعمالهم فمن يعمل مثقال ذرة خيرا يره ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة شرا